Good morning, everyone. It's Rose, otherwise known as the Drifting Six, and welcome to a video on Snowrunner. I know I sound a little nasal today because I'm sick, but I wanted to do this video regardless, because I figured out how to actually record on Snowrunner without my game crashing, pretty much. You might be able to expect more content in the future for this game, I'm not sure, it depends on what people want to see. Because this game is pretty easy for me to boot up the recorder and record it. Editing will probably still be a problem with this one, but we'll be able to fix that when the time comes to it. But I wanted to do this video on the Telehandler, as you guys can see I'm driving around right now. This vehicle is a part of the Yukon map, or Phase 2 DLC. It is one of the first vehicles you can find for free, and is pretty much made for one mission. However, I have found some other uses for it, and I'm going to be telling you guys today are some of the best uses for the Telehandler. Now, I will note that the Telehandler is not for everybody. Certain playstyles are not going to be able to use this. Some people will probably prefer cranes. It's fine. Do what you'd like. But if you need any information on how the Telehandler handles, well, this is a video for you. Now, as I'm driving around, as you can see, I have all-wheel drive and diff lock on permanently. It cannot be taken off. And I'm driving around with 2 liters a minute. That's not that bad, actually. That means this thing can go pretty dang long without having to stop to refuel. Also, as you can see, 4-wheel steering allows this thing to steer basically on a dime. So if you need anywhere that you're basically, in tight corners, then this thing can definitely help with that. Next we're going to try mudding, and as you can see, these are the only tires the Telehandler has, which is a little upsetting. On any surface that's not mud, because slidey, but this mud is actually kind of crappy example there. These are some of the largest tires, if not the largest tires in the American Scout lineup. I could be wrong, I don't have the Apache and I do not have the 750, so I don't know if they have larger tires or not. But relative to the size of the vehicle, these are probably the largest. The vehicle is relatively slow, it's just struggling up a hill right now, but it is one of the slowest Scouts, if not the slowest Scout in America, so you're not going to be expecting anything speedy out of this truck. So, I would say to not, expect some kind of speed demon out of this thing. But that's also a good thing, because that allows you to do better maneuvers. Also, you can put it in low, plus and minus. I think I have I don't know what gearbox I have on this thing, but I will check in a minute here. As you can see, we just tanked through that mud faster than some of my trucks can even do it. So that's because of the tires. They're very strong, they're very big, and it's going to be helpful for just in general scouting. The only thing that it has weaknesses for scouting is due to the fact that it is so small. And it's a cat, so you're going to have to expect this to be done with. This thing hates water, so you're going to be drowning a lot if you're not careful. So I would say that if you go through water, try to find the best place to not get stuck. Because water will eat this thing alive and destroy the engine. The engine only has 80 health as well, so it's not going to survive much. So, just saying. But if you do run into something, let me see if I can try to get enough speed to do that. I don't think the engine takes damage if you just run into something head on. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't tried this yet. Nope, fork's bouncing off. I haven't tried with the fork off, but I'm not going to because I don't want to take forever to edit this video. But we do have some upgrades. Kinda. Now, there are some upgrades that are on the maps that I don't have, so you won't be able to see them. It does have every scout for Winch, or for the, Scouts. Or winches for the Scouts. It does have these, as well as taking the boom completely off if you just want it to be a scout. Which I have seen people do before, so it's not unheard of. It also increases its power to weight, which is interesting. I didn't expect that. But you can also put on the wide or the thin fork. The only difference I could see, although it says narrow cargo, is both of these can pick up single slot cargo. This one is a little bit worse about it. Like, if you think about it, the cargo can slide in the middle of those two forks there. This one will probably be a little bit easier with it, but for the most part, both of them do handle the same, and the wide fork is pretty much universal. I have never had to take it off to put it on the thin fork, so, yeah. Color is not available. You can put stickers on it and stuff as well. Change all these if you would want to. Yeah. Also has a very unique startup sound, which has nothing to do with the game. I just talked over it. I'll let you guys listen. But it's a unique startup sound nonetheless. The Telehandler also has a unique controls. So I'm dealing with this with controller. I don't know how it works with keyboard, so I'm sorry if you're using keyboard. But as you can see, I have the handbrake on. If you take it off, you can drive with the controls up. It will respond with what you put the gear in. So if it's low plus, it'll be in low plus. If it's an automatic, it'll be an automatic. High, it'll be in high. You get the idea. As you can see, this is left trigger, right trigger, and you can extend this out, lift this up, lift this back, lift this forward. Now, this is probably the most exciting part of the Telehandler, because this is what makes this thing so flexible, because you can drive and lift. And unlike a crane, which can't do that, you'll be able to... Let me see if I can grab while I do this. You can kind of skid. I'm not used to driving while doing this, so this is going to be a crappy example. As you guys can see, you can kind of skid, pick up the control, and keep going. So if you ever do need to get into a spot where it's kind of tight, a crane might not work, or the vehicle that you're doing stuff with does not have a crane, yeah, this is probably a good vehicle for that, so that's a good perk as well. Another perk of the Telehandler is it's pretty strong, surprisingly, for a vehicle like this. All the scouts are pretty strong on their own. As you can see, the Cat does not have its engine on. I don't know what my heaviest heavy hauler is, but I saw the Cat and I was thinking, oh, it's probably heavier than a good few of these. So it does have the power to be able to pull these. I think that most of my scouts probably do. But again, you need to also realize that this thing's burning not even 4 liters a minute. Pulling these things with terrible tires for the roads. And it's at full gear. It's sliding a little bit because that's what it does. But as you can see, it's doing pretty well. I don't know if it can tow this thing through mud or not, because I haven't really tried that. But I have had cases where I've had to... No. I've had to tow trucks out of the mud using this thing, because, I mean, it's probably one of the easiest things to get places, so, yeah. Really crappy angle, still towing. That is one of the greatest perks of having this thing. And you don't need the fork on to do this either, so that's important, because if you had the fork on doing this, then you would probably, you could probably substitute it for something else. Because it does make the truck a little heavier, fork off, increases its power to weight, so you will probably have more advantages with this aspect of the Telehandler with the fork off, but it's not needed. Take it off if you need to, as you can see. Trying to make a point and talk normally, it's not easy, because I'm also trying to focus on what I'm doing. Like, I'm commentating as I'm recording, so I'm not commentating over, you know what I mean, so whatever. Anyway. Yeah, this thing is definitely a pretty good rescue vehicle. Tank in the off-road, and now we're pulling the Cat through the mud. The biggest disadvantage with this is this thing can't really refuel anything because of how small its gas tank is. So I would say that if you're going to refuel something using this thing, refuel it with wise small amounts. Yeah, don't empty the whole thing's tank, because this thing can be pretty handy nearby any vehicles. Because it's small and it's capable to get to them, usually. Unless it's water, then you're probably up for a little bit of a problem. Alright, so let's say you are not here, because you could do the ramp strategy if you wanted to. But let's say you are with a flatbed, in this case a twin steer, and you are out in the wilderness and you don't have any cranes or anything to be able to load your little thing here. Well, this game's really buggy physics has a way to fix that. I don't have a raised twin steer. I have heard that it's possible with a raised twin steer. I suck at doing this, so I do not have it on a raised twin steer. I also suck at driving a raised twin steer, so I don't have mine raised at the moment. Basically, what you want to do is that, and you want to keep it as in line as possible, so that you don't fly away. Let's do a twin steer. This is the extended winch on the twin steer, so just FYI for anybody that is a little bit. Like that. Careful. And change the truck. Now the Caterpillar does count as a 2 cargo slot, but if you pack it, I think it counts as 3 if you move your thing up. So a twin steer, or if you take the thing down, your fork. On a twin steer, this is usually what I do on a twin steer because, you know, space. But I'm going to go into low minus and reach forwards. And there we go. So you can pack something behind the forklift as well. That's how you pack this thing up onto trailers without just needing them. That's something that a lot of scouts can't actually do unless you find like a rock to ramp off of. So this thing is pretty efficient in that manner as well, in case you need a scout plus flatbed team somewhere. And the last example segment of this video is going to be loaded. Now, I have never loaded wood before, so I don't actually know how well this is going to go with the wide fork, but I will be showing you guys basically how to load using the Telehandler, and why it's actually pretty efficient, given the game lets me. Sometimes the game doesn't like to leverage things, usually larger cargo containers, stuff like that. It will make the Telehandler not happy. But first things first, push this off of this. Not like that. You don't want it up there because you can't really glitch it as well. Like every time I've ever tried to load something on that platform, it hasn't gone very well, so I don't think it's going to work very well if you try it either. I could be wrong. If anyone knows how to do that, then tell me, thanks, but that'd be nice. But for the most part, just push them off. It's easier this way, at least in my opinion. Push it over so it's flat. It's flat ground, but that's fine. The only reason I wanted to do this at the logging depot, or the wood thing, is because it was the closest thing, you know. Beyond the farm. And the farm has a more annoying platform, so yeah, I didn't want to deal with that either. This also helps better on mud, so this is another reason why I didn't want to do it in industrial grounds. Now, for trucks, this is easier for trucks, even another twin steer, although the twin steer is too heavy for one to pick up. Because they have suspension, so you just go up under them and lift up. That's something else with twin steers that cranes can't do, is stack, because cranes are going to make a power triangle, as I've heard in Discord. That's what they're called, I guess. But it begins to become problematic because winching from different points is a problem, so basically, that's why these went static, because they're using static physics to be able to do their job. As you can see, my forks are in the ground. That's important for this. We go under. We push. Under push, brake. Oops. Again, this certain position would be easier with the finger forks. But as you can see, I picked that up pretty easily. I don't know why the game doesn't want me to steer. There we go. Again, this certain position of how I picked up those planks would be easier with the fin fork. They didn't pick them up sideways, they picked them up front on, so that was a bit awkward. But if you just touch your throttle for backing up, and you're careful with your going forwards, you shouldn't be able to drop this. Even on terrain that's this. Let's go close here. We'll stop gently instead of just hammering on the parking brake. Now I understand that in many situations, especially like this, a crane would probably come in handy because they are capable of, you know, lifting these and carrying them over. But this is also helpful for the twin steer because the twin steer can't have a crane, and lifting a lodestar into this thing is a problem sometimes. So we push this forward a little bit more. Back up so that the twin steer doesn't eat us. Change to the twin steer. At cargo. Lag the game. And there we go. So this is the basically my video on trying to tell you guys that the Telehandler's actually pretty good as a scout. Even if the cargo doesn't have forks, as you can see, with a little bit of glitchiness, there is a way to pick them up. So, if you guys have any other vehicles that a lot of people might not enjoy, that I can access at the moment, or later, and try to find uses for them, comment down below. If there's any questions, you can ask me on the Discord, or comment down below. Either way works. But if you guys want more content from Snowrunner, there is some planned ideas since I got this game to work. And beyond that, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.